Hello, and today on Food, Nutrition, and Wellness, we're talking hiking and health. So stay with us, we'll be right back. I'm Duane Rigsby. We have a special guest with us, Amanda Woods. Tell us just a little bit where you're from, and then we'll get into the thing. And also we have Dan with us as usual. So, and welcome to the new year as well.
Yeah, well, Happy New Year. My name is Amanda Woods. I'm the Healthy Finances Program Specialist with OSU Family Consumer Sciences with Extension. So I work with Dan. And so financial health and wellness is typically my focus when it comes to my work with Extension, but I'm here today because I am an avid hiker and backpacker outside of the office. So Dan and I have done a little bit of work. We've done some webinars and stuff on this topic previously.
All right, great. So we're talking about hiking and health. So obviously we just had a great Christmas and we ate lots of good stuff. Hopefully we tried to watch our what we ate a little bit, but I'm sure we indulged a little as I did. So what is, maybe hiking is a good thing after all of this nice Christmas. You get outside, maybe you got some new toys for Christmas. So tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking about, and I think we have some slides that we're going to get into.
We do. So it's funny that you say that. I actually have a friend that reached out to me after the new year. Her resolution was to be a lot more intentional with her health. So make decisions that promote health and wellness, physical health, and obviously nutritionally. So my suggestion to her was that we should go hiking on Sunday. So we were going hiking on Sunday. The reason I suggested it is because it is really great for your health, but in a very like low impact and moderate way. So a lot of the trails that we're going to see in Ohio can be challenging. There's some that are like a little bit technical, but nothing that most people can't get out and tackle. So it's a great way to start being active, but you have this, as opposed to being in a gym, being on a treadmill, being on an elliptical, you're outside, and so you've got the extra added benefits of health. So I can actually go, we can start the slides if you want to do that. So we can get back to this maybe when we're showing our gear and stuff at the end, discuss our favorite places to hike. So basically what we want to get across today is just becoming aware of the health benefits of hiking. There are a lot, I think, that people get focus on the cardiovascular health, which is great, but there are some additional topics that we'll kind of touch on today. Learning to select the appropriate gear for day and multi-day hikes is super important. We're going to be discussing nutrition and hydration while hiking and how to find proper hydration, and the food safety guidelines of packing and cooking on the trail. So benefits of hiking were something that really intrigued me when I first got into backpacking. I have always been into solo hiking and solo backpacking, and I found it really helped when it came to mental health. So reduced my anxiety a great deal. And I found that because I was out and it was quiet and I was just in the middle of the woods, it really kind of helped. And so I started looking into whether that was a more common effect for a lot of people, and it was. There was actually a lot of studies that showed that walking in nature reduced stress a lot, which is great, and the hormones associated with that. Again, more studies proved that it can improve your cognitive function. It may even improve or lower your blood pressure. So a lot of those positive effects of just being in nature were found on the trail. Spending time in nature can also have a positive effect on your mental health. So like I said, my anxiety was really improved by being in the woods, and a study showed that a group of people who went for a walk in the woods were more relaxed after and felt happier after than a group of people that went hiking in the city. So obviously there you have the quiet of the woods, you've got the benefits of that versus the noise and just kind of like the fray of the city. Time spent in nature can also reduce rumination, which can be a risk factor for mental illness. So being, outdoors, walking in nature can reduce rumination and can increase the likelihood that you'll have better mental health. So all of these things are great. I mean, none of these things are the magic bullet when it comes to improving mental health, obviously, but spending time in nature can be really helpful when doing that. So yeah, those are the talking points on health. I can go into.
Now, I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
We're talking about you talked about time. Is there any studies or your recommendations on time spent out there? Should you spend a day a week, a day a month, and then should it be all day, an hour? How should a person start?
The Surgeon General's recommendation for physical activity is about 150 minutes a week to get the health benefits from physical activity. So it certainly helps you meet some of those guidelines. And really, if you think about that, that's about 30 minutes for like 5 days. But that can be broken up. So we're not talking about long hikes here to really get some of those, accrue some of those health benefits from hiking. It could be a half an hour going out. It doesn't have to be Yellowstone National Park.
Right.
It can be somewhere really close to home.
In your backyard.
Right.
Just getting outside, getting exposed to nature, and I mean, there's just all those mental health benefits that Amanda talked about, in addition to the physical benefits of reducing stress and reducing reducing your risk for heart disease and that type of thing. So 150 minutes a week, and that's hiking is one of those ways to meet that guideline.
Now, when you're out hiking, should you take any kind of safety precautions? Should you, tell somebody where you're going? How long I'm going to be gone?
Yeah.
Do you recommend that, especially for a beginning hiker? I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because what if they get lost?
So there, I think, are a couple of safety things that would be beneficial before going out. One of the biggest ones that I do is I always research where I'm going, what the trail is like, how long it is, how long I'm expected to be gone. Like this is all information that is really helpful to not only have for yourself, but reach out and tell somebody. Like I said in the beginning, I'm a solo hiker, so I always will let somebody know where I'm going, what trailhead I'm entering, and then around the amount of time that I think it should take to finish. That way, if you don't receive a text back 5 or 6 hours in the future, I'm lost, or there's probably something that should be done. So that would be my suggestion.
And I would caution people not to rely on their cell phones too much, because you might be out there and you're all of a sudden you don't have service, so you can't get a hold of someone. So that could be an issue. So do tell somebody, let them know where you're at, how long you're going to be, that type of thing too.
And on the topic of the cell phone too, I went on a pretty long day hike. It was about 10 miles, and it was a trail we were unfamiliar with. And we did get lost. We lost the blazes. We were confused on the blazes, and eventually there were no blazes. We were in the middle of the forest, and we were not on the trail. And our phones were useless to us. There was absolutely no GPS in where we were, but we had a map that we had grabbed on the trailhead that eventually kind of helped us find our way back to the trail. So I would always suggest to have an actual map of where you are, so that you can find your way. If you get lost, which it can be a little easy to do, it'll help you kind of backtrack. But without that, you're
an old-fashioned paper.
Yeah.
An old-fashioned paper map. That's true.
Yeah.
Now I know that like a GPS itself. They've come down in price quite a bit. Would that be something that you would take, maybe, or maybe invest in for future?
They're more reliable than the phone in terms of the service and being able to track exactly where you're at. And they are coming down in price, but it would be an additional investment.
It would be an investment.
If you're a long-term hiker, or you might be hiking a long trail like the Appalachian Trail, I think that's could be something you invest in.
So definitely on a big trail.
Absolutely. I would say if you're going for like a multi-day hike, solo, definitely, I would say a spot is absolutely necessary. I have been planning a long hike for some time, and that's like one of the definite going in my pack things. Because it just gives you that extra sense of, okay, if something goes wrong, I've got this, there's an emergency signal, I'll be okay. For groups of people, I still think that it would be, I'm a better safe than sorry. I had a definitely one of those experiences when I started hiking where I was unprepared and it backfired, and so now I'm like, okay, have everything I need at all times. So,
And be prepared for changes in weather too. We were up in the Smoky Mountains. I didn't have rain gear, and of course it started raining. And it can get cold pretty quick, and it doesn't take long for hypothermia to set in. So I remember I had a trash bag. I used that as a raincoat, a makeshift raincoat, and it didn't work real well. And the rain, we were up there in the Smoky Mountains. The rain started to turn to snow, and that was a close call.
Wow.
Yeah.
So be prepared. Make a list.
Always be prepared, yeah. Even the crazy, this will never happen, I'm just going for a couple of hours, even in those cases, emergency shelter, emergency food, I would always recommend that.
Okay. So we got some more slides?
So we
or what
do. So this is actually one of the biggest things, the biggest challenges when I first started hiking and backpacking was figuring out the clothing. So I can get really distracted if my clothes are uncomfortable, my shoes are uncomfortable, especially if you're out for, 7 hours a day walking, essentially. It can be a real make or break situation. So the clothes, I think, are one of the most important things. Shorter hikes, maybe not quite as crucial, but those longer hikes, if you're not prepared, it can be, detrimental. So obviously you want to choose your clothes based on the forecast. So that's another point. Check the forecast. Know what you're in for, right? If it's going to be 30 degrees at night and you don't have any warm layers, you're gonna be pretty miserable. So always check and pack your pack based on the forecast. I brought some stuff to show after, but lightweight wicking fabrics are a must. I think I've seen a lot of people on trails in cotton, and it's just not the way to go. Cotton and denim, all of those things will hold moisture, and the wicking fabrics, the more athletic fabrics, will pull that moisture away from your body and will help regulate your temperature a lot better. So you want to layer, always having a wicking fabric against your body, and then go from there. Light layers are a great way to go. I personally heat up very quickly, so I'm not starting out with the fleece. 5 minutes in, it's coming off quick because it just depends on who you are, but know your body and know what clothes you're gonna want to take on the trail with you. And layering also allows you to adapt. So if it does start raining, add that rain layer on. I would always recommend a rain shell of some sort, a rain jacket. You never know.
And even if you stop and you eat lunch, a lot of times you're sweating, and so you get cold.
Quick. It's quick.
Yeah, it's quick. So it's nice to have that sweat that you put back on, just to keep you warm.
And my last point is to always choose clothes that you have worn before. So something that you're comfortable in. I would never recommend taking a new piece of gear or a new piece of clothing out on the trail with you for the first time. Not for a multi-day hike or even a long day hike. Because if there's something uncomfortable or it just is hard for you to maneuver or it's not well fitted and things are falling down, it's gonna just make things a lot more difficult for you. So that would be my little suggestion there with so fabrics, we kind of touched on this a little bit, but you want base layer to always be wicking. Again, pull some moisture away from your skin. Again, pack the waterproof layer, always in case of rain. And then, avoiding those denim and cotton. Those materials have no place on the trail, in my opinion. You'll be sweating, they'll hold it, and you'll be uncomfortable. So, it says choose items that are unrestrictive, allowing you to move comfortably. Again, that's kind of like up to you. What's most comfortable for your body. If things are more technical, clothing that will allow you to maybe scramble over a boulder or move in a different way is what you're going to want to choose. So choose for the trail, but also what you're comfortable in, what won't restrict your movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there... when you talk clothing, obviously you have to pack for this. So is there particular backpacks that we talk, and I know we're going to talk about some gear later, but is there obviously size backpacks that there's a day pack? Is there such a thing?
Yeah, so I have 2 packs that I can show after, but there's a day pack that's smaller, and I can show them now, I guess, whatever. The day pack's smaller and will hold basically what you'll need for the day. So I will typically in a day carry, my rain shell will be in my pack, water, food. I usually carry a knife and an emergency tarp, so if I needed to make shelter, I can. So the day pack will easily carry all of that stuff. And then whatever else you need to be comfortable. The longer your hike is, the less you'll eventually pare down, because carrying that weight just is extra weight, and it'll change your center.
Carry just the essentials that you need. Okay,
that first backpacking trip I took with my actual full backpack. So my full backpack is 75 liters. So pretty good for multi-day trips. And then I can talk about fit for that later. But I went out and that thing was packed. I had everything I thought that I would need, and it probably was weighing in around 30 pounds, which is pretty heavy for a pack. And so I very quickly figured out things I never would use again. Because carrying 30 pounds on your back when you're climbing up the side of a hill or scrambling over rocks changes your center of gravity, and things get, different. So again, can add to the cardiovascular benefits of hiking, because it works everything to move that weight up a hill. But very quickly you'll decide what's beneficial to carry and what's just not.
Now, we talk about clothes and clothes. Do you carry an extra pair of shoes? Or would you?
Yes, I would. And I think, again, it comes to personal preference. So if I'm multi-day hiking, I'll carry my hiking boots with me, so the shoes that I'll actually do the hiking with, and then I carry sandals. And so what'll happen is after 7+ hours of hiking in boots all day, you don't want to wear them anymore.
So I just give your
feet a little room to breathe. Yeah.
I bring my boots. I bring duct tape.
Oh, really?
To repair my boots if I need to. And then I do bring Crocs for the campfire. And that's my trail name is Socks, because I never used to bring the Crocs. I'd always forget to bring them. So I'd walk around the campfire in my socks. And then, Dan, you need to get some sandals or some Crocs, because that's important.
Okay.
And Crocs are great because they're light, so they're not adding extra weight to your pack. So that's always the thing. It's great to have.
Durable,
but
easy to take on, take off.
Yeah. But I mean, everybody I think is different. That's one of those things that comes to preference. Some people might even bring a pair of tennis shoes for a less technical day. It might be a little bit more comfortable. I prefer to hike in tennis shoes on smaller mile hikes and just less technical hikes, because it can be a bit more comfortable. So again, personal preference. What you really want to have with you, you'll make room for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it looked like we got some sun protection coming up?
So this is kind of a big thing, and I think it's probably not something that a lot of people necessarily consider when it comes to hiking, because a lot of times when you're hiking, you're under a canopy. So you're under that tree cover. You're probably not seeing a lot of direct sunlight, but it's still something that you want to do to protect yourself. So just a couple of really, I think, obvious things when it comes to sun protection on the trail. I always have sunglasses with me, especially if you're winter hiking and there's snow on the ground. Those sunglasses are going to come in handy, because snow blindness is real and it can make it very hard to function on a trail. Some people like the wide brim hats, so bigger hats to kind of keep the sun off, and also if you're hiking in the rain, it can kind of keep the rain out of your face as well. Hoods are great, but I've never found a hood that kept the rain out of my face. So that would be another dual purpose for a wide brim hat. And then obviously sunscreen. Bringing that on the trail is a great idea. Reapplying pretty regularly is a great idea.
2 hours or so. And even though you're under the canopy and you're not as exposed to that direct sunlight, you're out there for a long amount of time too. So it is really important to take precautions so you don't get those burns and put yourself at risk for skin cancer too.
Yeah, definitely. And there are other things. I think these are the basics. These are what you should focus on. There are a lot of people who will market clothing that's supposed to cut back on the so not a terrible thing to look into. It's going to be a more expensive way, obviously, to protect yourself.
But if you're out west and you're hiking, the Pacific Coast Trail or somewhere out in the desert, that's a different story.
Uncovered. Yeah, that's definitely a different story. So but simple, basic things you should be doing every day, but don't forget to do it just because you're on a trail.
Okay. What's our next topic?
Our next is the pack.
Okay.
So I'll talk a little bit about this. The pack, like you said earlier, will depend on what you're doing. So you want to choose a pack that fits what you're carrying in that time. I have a day pack that's smaller. And then multi-day pack, like I said, mine's 75 liters. They can range from 40 to 100. It'll just depend on how much you want to carry with you and how long your trip is. They're fitted by your torso. So small, medium, large based on the torso. And then there's adjusters and stuff to kind of get that true fit to your body. So again, choosing the appropriate pack depending on the trip that you're taking. Like I said, you'll want to be able to carry all of the gear that you are taking on the trip, fit the water. I use the water reservoir in the back of my bag, but I also carry water with me. And when you're multi-day tripping, you want to carry as much water as comfortable, and especially Dan will discuss water and filtering, but sometimes you have to get the water where you can, and so having that stored with you wherever. But I prefer a bag that allows me to sip water as I go. just so I don't have to stop and grab a bottle and all that stuff. And then you want to make sure it's comfortable and it's fitted to you properly. So when you're carrying that weight on your back, if it's not fitted to your body properly and it's not holding the weight that it's supposed to against your body, it's gonna be really challenging to carry out a multi-hour, multi-day hike. So really go and get fitted. This would be an area where I would suggest look for packs that you might want online. That's great, but I would absolutely go and get fitted in person before you pay money for it, just to make sure that it's the right choice for you. Do you want to add any?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's great. And they're not cheap either, right? So you want to invest in one that's going to work well for you.
Sometimes it's hard when you're on the trail for 8 hours. You know, that's when you really learn if you like something or not. So sometimes you just have to sort of baptism by fire at times. But
and that's how you learn how to best fit it to you, right? So like when I start, this feels good. And then there's a trail here in Ohio in Zaleski National Forest, the Zaleski Backpacking Trail. And it's just right in, right up. It's up and down. There's no switchbacks. There's no flat land. Like you're going up, you're going down. And I, for the first couple of hours, was readjusting my pack constantly because once you're actually in it and doing it, how the pack fits becomes very apparent to you. How your back feels becomes very apparent to you. So trial by fire, just going out and using it.
So you got packs. What about these sticks that we have up here on the table? As you know, we want to try to get in as many things.
So these are trekking poles here, and you can get these. You don't have to backpack, or these are good just for walking.
They're like walking
because they give you stability. They give you they help with joints. Like if you have a joint, I have a little bit of arthritis in my hip, so it just helps my walks. But these are adjustable. So like if you're going uphill, you can shorten them. If you're going downhill for long periods of time, you make them a little longer. So, but you want.
I didn't think about that.
So depending on your height, you can adjust them. You want to be standing up straight, and you want when you hold them, your elbow should be at about a 90-degree angle. So you can adjust them to your height, and they have there's different types here. This is these have a cork handle. These are nice as they won't they kind of wick sweat. They're not going to get sweaty, and you're not going to lose your grip.
Versus this one looks like a rubber or foam.
This is more of a foam, and these are both pretty good poles. I prefer the cork ones. I don't know, Amanda.
I use one with the cork handle as well.
Gotcha.
So these are nice, and they have these are you can adjust. They have little tips here that these are little rubber tips, so you can use these not only on the trail but also just hiking on a road or hiking on a sidewalk as well.
This one
so
has
these
a
are
point
interchangeable.
So you can get something that has a point on it.
Or you can take these off, and if it has that point, so it gives you a little bit more of a
you
dig
can also
there.
get some with a disc. So I have like a winter one as well. For either mud or snow, just to make it easier to so you're not jamming it in, and it just makes it a little easier to use.
Then you can wrap the straps around your wrists like that, so you have a good you don't lose them if you're
or anything as well.
But they give you a lot more balance, especially if you're in a rocky terrain, or it's easy to trip and fall. And so if you have 40 pounds on your back, these give you a lot of stability. So I use two. Some people use one.
I will at least take one. I like two, and I think they're great for people that are starting out on a trail that might be a little bit more technical, because they'll help you up, they'll help you down. And for me, my balance isn't great on a normal day, but when you add 30 plus pounds to your back, when you're crossing things that are narrow, or you're crossing water on a log, these things can be a lifesaver. They really can.
It helps you give you a little bit of stability there, I guess. And then I guess the alternate thing is you're out in the woods, so you never know what kind of critters you might be coming across.
Right. Having
that could be.
I use it to swat spider webs in front of me.
That's a good idea.
But these are about you can get them online. You can get them at any sporting goods place. They're about $20 a piece for most. You can get some are really expensive and are about like 40 to 50. But some of these have like a little spring too, so it's almost like a shock absorber.
Some are also very light. I think you'll find with most gear, the lighter it is, the more expensive it'll be. But you can do just fine with a $20 trekking pole. Really, if you're not hiking the Appalachian Trail, this one will be fine.
Do you want to show the backpack?
Sure, I can show just a real quick
as
difference.
Our time narrows.
And so this is my day pack.
Okay.
I use this for really anything that's probably under like 5 hours. Anything more than that or on a more technical trail. So it's got, I like to have something where I can clip either my poles to, my keys to, and then I like my external water bottle. This pack also has a reservoir option in the back, which is nice.
Okay.
So you can stick a camelback bladder, some kind of water bladder in, and have that option here as well. I think this one's 30 liters, but a smaller day pack. Some day packs also have a waist strap, and that's again kind of dependent upon how you're the most comfortable. I prefer to definitely have a chest strap on my day pack. It just it fits better, but really you can find one that's outfitted pretty similarly to a multi-day pack. Which brings me to the multi-day pack, which is kind of a beast, but we'll bring it up here.
Mine's much bigger than that.
So this is my multi-day pack. These are, again, the fit is on the torso. So this is where the fit is. It has wrist straps and then the arm straps. Then once you get it on, there's load lifters that'll kind of help you adjust the weight once it's actually on your body. So that's kind of the nice thing. I always have a towel, which is great. If you're the first person on a trail and it's early morning and you're the one walking through the spider webs, having that towel to wipe those away is great because you'll pick them up quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, how much does that normally weigh?
So I don't know the weight of this unpacked, but
Well, I mean, when it's packed for you.
it's typically right around 25 to 30 pounds, but that has tent, that has, I mean,
That's
my
pretty light.
sleeping
Mine's
bag.
about 40
so,
pounds.
yeah. I
Goodness.
try to carry as little as I can possibly get away with. And I also will say, I know that Dan might take a minute to discuss nutrition. I am lazy when it comes to nutrition on the trail. So if I'm alone, I'm probably not going to be cooking. And so energy chews, power bars, anything like that. Nuts are great. So just really quick, light food. Yeah.
So, and we got 2 minutes.
Okay, so
what kind of food can we
here's the lowdown on the food and water. Bring enough water. Be drinking all the times, even if you're not thirsty. Hydration. I mean, it's really easy to become dehydrated, and you want to make sure that you're drinking and you're urinating a lot. And also, don't drink from the streams, no matter how clear the water looks, because there are little parasites called Giardia that can make you really sick.
Okay.
And not only Giardia, but also bacteria. And there's all kinds of stuff in water. So I bring a filtration system like that. It's just a really simple pump. And you take it out and you put one end in the water. In the stream, and then you pump it, and it's you get clean water that way.
So it has a filter built into it?
Yep.
Okay.
So really nice, very lightweight. Food, same rules apply out on the trail as they apply in your kitchen in terms of food safety. Things that should be refrigerated in your pack.
Okay.
And so, for example, if you shouldn't think that if I freeze my meat and I bring frozen meat in my pack, it's going to be okay. Just like leaving frozen meat on the counter, you shouldn't. That's a no-no. So meats and even cut produce and cooked things should be refrigerated or kept cool, like in a cooler or some sort of insulated pack. Keep it. Same rules apply on the trails as in your kitchen. So
great.
That's my.
So as we end you kind of hit another topic of ice. Keeping things frozen. Do you typically bring a cooler or anything, or you just kind of stay away from things that are cold?
My stuff is mostly dry, so I heat it up. I add water, heat it up. There's you can get food at the sporting goods store that's pre-made, or you can make your own. You can dehydrate and just add water. Things like dry potato flakes and rice, and those things can be easily heated up. Soups, dry soups, and
there's a lot of websites out there, a lot of resources to get super creative when it comes to food on a backpacking trail. So if that's your thing, go for it. You can eat pretty gourmet on the trail if that's what you want to invest your time in.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, we are out of time, so until next month, we will see everyone later.